$572 billion. That's not the GDP of a small nation. That's the annual revenue of a single company. A company that employs more people than the population of Slovenia. A company so massive, so all-consuming, that it accounts for nearly 10% of all retail spending in the United States. But here's what they don't tell you. This empire, this unstoppable force that reshaped how the entire world shops, was built by a man who was once told he had absolutely no future in retail. A man who was threatened with termination because he was considered one of the worst employees his company had ever seen. A man who lost everything he'd built, kicked out of his own store, humiliated in front of the very community he'd worked so hard to serve. This is the story of Sam Walton. And this is the story of how rejection, obsession, and a willingness to break every rule in the book created the most powerful, most controversial, and most feared retail empire in human history. March 28, 1918, Kingfisher, Oklahoma, a tiny farming town where dreams came to die. This is where Sam Walton entered the world, born into poverty, born into struggle, born into a family that was barely holding on. His father, Thomas, was a farmer desperately trying to coax life from unforgiving soil. But the land gave nothing back. The money wasn't there. The future wasn't there. So the Walton family did what desperate families do. They ran. State to state, town to town, chasing any opportunity that might give them a chance. It was a childhood defined by instability, by watching his parents scrape together pennies, by learning that survival wasn't guaranteed, it was earned. Sam watched his father hustle through small business deals, squeezing profit from transactions so small they barely mattered. He watched his mother launch a milk business from nothing, waking before dawn to milk cows while Sam delivered bottles to neighbors after football practice. Every dollar was a battle. Every meal was a victory. But money wasn't the only thing scarce in the Walton household. Love was rare too. Thomas was almost never home, always on the road, always chasing the next deal, the next dollar. His marriage to Sam's mother deteriorated into something toxic, something painful. Sam later described them as the two most quarrelsome people to ever live together. Home wasn't a refuge, it was a war zone. So Sam escaped. Sports, Boy Scouts, leadership roles. Anything to stay busy, anything to avoid the fighting, the tension, the sense that everything was falling apart. He threw himself into achievement, into proving that he was more than the poverty he was born into. He graduated high school in 1935 and made his way to the University of Missouri, working odd jobs, delivering newspapers, waiting tables just to eat. He wasn't given anything. He took it. And then came fresh out of college. Sam Walton walked into a JCPenney store in Des Moines, Iowa, ready to prove himself as a sales trainee. $75 a week. It should have been the beginning of something great. Instead, it nearly destroyed him. Sam Walton was a disaster. His bookkeeping was terrible because he refused to waste time on paperwork while customers waited. He broke protocol. He ignored systems. He frustrated everyone around him. His boss didn't just criticize him. His boss threatened to fire him and told him point blank that he had no career in retail, no future, no hope. The only thing that saved him was his ability to sell. He had a gift for connecting with people, for making them trust him, for convincing them to buy. That gift earned him an extra $25 a month in commissions. But the message was clear. Sam Walton didn't belong. Sam quit JCPenney and joined the U.S. Army, where his natural leadership finally found a home. He was selected for the Military Intelligence Corps and rose to the rank of captain. It was in Oklahoma during his service that he met Helen Robson. They married on Valentine's Day, 1943. And when the war ended in 1945, Sam had a wife, a child, and a burning need to prove everyone wrong. With $20,000 borrowed from his father-in-law and $5,000 from his own savings, Sam Walton did the unthinkable. He bought a failing Ben Franklin variety store in Newport, Arkansas, a store that was hemorrhaging money, a store in an industry where millions had failed. And to make matters worse, the rent he agreed to pay was 5% of sales, the highest rate anyone had ever paid for a variety store. He didn't just walk into a bad situation, he signed up for disaster. But Sam Walton didn't play by the rules. He studied the retail playbook and then tore it to pieces. The Ben Franklin franchise required him to buy goods from company outlets, but Sam found a loophole. He sourced cheaper merchandise elsewhere and slashed his prices below every competitor in the region. His competitors thought he was insane. How could you make money selling things for less? Volume. Sam made his profit on volume, not margin. It was a simple idea, but it was revolutionary. And it worked. His first full year, sales hit $105,000, a 45% increase. The next year, $140,000. The year after that, $175,000. In 3 years, he repaid his father-in-law in full. Within 5 years, he was the leading variety store owner in Arkansas. People loved him. His customers loved him. His business was thriving. He had everything, and then it was ripped away. You see, when Sam signed that lease back in 1945, no option to continue. His father-in-law was horrified when he discovered the oversight. Sam had poured his body and soul into that store, into that community. His wife loved the town. 3 of their 4 children were born there, and now the landlord wanted the store for his own son. Sam was evicted, kicked out, humiliated. Sam later said it was the lowest point of his life. He felt sick, betrayed, broken. But he wasn't finished. Sam found a new location in Bentonville, Arkansas, a tiny town, a nothing place. But this time, he wasn't taking chances. He demanded a 99-year lease. In the summer of 1950, he opened Walton's Five and Dime in the town square. People whispered, "Give him 60 days, maybe 90, he won't last." They were wrong. Sam kept his prices lower than anyone else. Customers flocked to him. The town transformed, and Sam kept innovating. He discovered the concept of self-service. Lower costs, tripled income within a year. By the end of the 1950s, Sam owned 15 stores, all funded by borrowed money and reinvested profits. But he wanted more. He wanted to change everything. His idea was radical: massive discount stores in small towns, slashing prices on everything, making up the difference through sheer volume. The Ben Franklin Company refused to back him. So in 1962, Sam mortgaged his home, borrowed everything he could, and opened the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. Customers came in droves. Sales exploded. Sam replaced wooden shelves with cheaper metal ones. He kept stores open longer than competitors. He never charged for parking. He was relentless. In 1970, Walmart went public, raising $5 million while the Walton family retained 61% ownership. The debts were paid. The expansion began. Between 1970 and 1980, Walmart, there were 276 locations. By 1990, over 1,000 stores and 150,000 employees. Sam made his employees partners. Stock options, cash bonuses, they shared in the success. He built warehouses close to stores for one-day delivery. He bought directly from manufacturers, cutting out wholesalers. Every innovation drove prices lower, sales higher. In 1983, he launched Sam's wholesale clubs for bulk buyers. Another goldmine. Investors who bought $1,650 in stock in 1970 saw it grow to over $700,000 by 1987. Walmart wasn't just a store, it was a revolution. By the mid-80s, Walmart was unstoppable, the fastest-growing retail force in America, the company that redefined shopping, that brought discount prices to rural America, that turned small-town commerce into big business profits. Sam Walton became a billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, yet he still drove an old pickup truck and lived modestly in Bentonville. He was a folk hero, the self-made man, the guy who proved that hard work, innovation, and customer focus could defeat anyone. Walmart's influence was everywhere. Competitors scrambled to copy the model. Towns begged for Walmart locations. The brand became synonymous with value, with accessibility, with the American dream. Sam Walton had built an empire, and everyone knew it. But empires always have cracks, and Walmart's cracks ran deep. Sam himself admitted the dark side of his success. Small retailers, the mom and pop stores that had once defined American towns, were vanishing, wiped out, destroyed by Walmart's unbeatable prices and massive scale. Communities lost their local shops, their unique character, their economic diversity. Walmart became the only game in town, and that power came with consequences. Critics accused Walmart of predatory pricing, of using its size to bully suppliers, of paying employees low wages with minimal benefits. The company that promised value to customers was accused of extracting that value from the backs of workers. Lawsuits piled up, labor disputes erupted, the shine began to fade, and Sam knew it. He acknowledged that small stores were destined to disappear, driven out by customer choice. But was it really choice when Walmart systematically undercut every competitor until there were no alternatives left? The empire Sam built was efficient, powerful, and ruthless. And as Walmart grew, so did the criticism. Sam Walton never lived to see the full weight of the controversies that would plague his company. On April 5, 1992, at the age of 74, Sam died. At the time of his death, Walmart had annual revenues exceeding $104 billion. But his death marked a turning point. Without Sam's folksy charm, his personal touch, his image as a humble entrepreneur, Walmart became a corporate giant without a face. The criticism intensified. The company faced lawsuits over labor practices, accusations of gender discrimination, environmental violations, and allegations of forcing suppliers into unsustainable contracts. The backlash was fierce. Documentaries, books, protests. Walmart became a symbol not just of American capitalism, but of its failures. The wealth gap, the exploitation, the destruction of local economies. Yet Walmart endured. It adapted. It expanded internationally. It invested in e-commerce to battle Amazon. It raised wages under public pressure. It rebranded, repositioned, and fought back. Today, Walmart is bigger than ever. Over 10,500 stores worldwide, more than 2 million employees, over $572 billion in annual revenue. It remains the largest retailer on Earth, the biggest private employer in the world, and a force that shapes global supply chains, labor markets, and consumer behavior. The company Sam Walton built from a single failing store has become too big to fail, too powerful to ignore, and too embedded in modern life to escape. Sam Walton's legacy is complicated. He was a visionary who democratized access to affordable goods. He was a relentless innovator who changed retail forever. But he was also the architect of a system that prioritized efficiency over community, profit over people, scale over soul. Walmart is both a triumph and a cautionary tale. It proves that ambition, ingenuity, and an obsessive focus on the customer can build an empire. But it also reveals the cost of that empire. The small businesses destroyed, the workers struggling, the communities hollowed out. Sam Walton was told he had no future in retail. He proved them wrong. But in doing so, he built something so powerful, so all-consuming, that it changed the very nature of commerce itself. And the question remains, was it worth it?